Om Namo Bhagavate Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. We'll continue our reading from chapter 16, Lord's attempt to go to Vṛndāvana, from Madhya Lila of Chaitanya Charitamrita. Mukam Karoti Vachalam, Pangum Lankhete Girim, Yat Kripatamam Vande, Shri Gurum Deen Tarinam, Paramananda Madhavam, Shri Chaitanyeshwaram, Hariam Tatsa. Verse number 217 of chapter 16 of Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Lila. हिरण्य गोवर्धन दुई सहोदर सप्तग्रामे बार लक्ष्य मुद्रार ईश्वर. Two brothers named Hiranya and Govardhan, who were residents of Saptagram, had an annual income of 1.2 million rupees. Purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hiranya and Govardhan were inhabitants of Saptagram in the district of Hooghly. Actually, they were inhabitants not of Saptagram but of nearby village named Krishnapura. They took their birth in a big caste family, and although their family title has not been ascertained, it is known that they came from an aristocratic family. The elder brother's name was Hiranya Majumdar and the younger brother's name was Govardhan Majumdar. Sri Raghunath Das was the son of Govardhan Majumdar. The family priest was Balaram Acharya, who was a favorite of Haridas Thakur's, and the family spiritual master was Yadunandan Acharya, a favorite of Vasudev Datta's. The village of Saptagram is located on the eastern railway from Calcutta to Burdwan, and presently the railway station is called Trishabigha, and in those days there was a large river there known as Saraswati, and present day Trishabigha is a great port. In 1592 the Pathans invaded, and due to a flooding of the Saraswati river in the year 1632, this great port was partially destroyed. It is said that in the 17th and 18th centuries, Portuguese businessmen used to come aboard their ships. In those days, Saptagram, situated on the southern side of Bengal, was very rich and popular. The merchants who were the principal residents were called Saptagram Suvarnavaniks. There were very many rich people there, and Hiranya Majumdar and Govardhan Majumdar belonged to the caste community. They also were very rich, so much so that it is mentioned in this verse that their annual income as landlords amounted to 1.2 million rupees. In this connection, one may refer to Adi Lila chapter 11 verse 41, which describes Udharan Datta, who also belonged to the Saptagrami Suvarnavanik community. Verse 218, Maha Ishwarya Yukta Dunhe Vadanya Brahmanaya Sadachari Satkulina Dharmik Kagra Ganya. Both Hiranya Majumdar and Govardhan Majumdar were very opulent and magnanimous. They were well behaved and devoted to Brahminical culture. They belonged to an aristocratic family, and amongst religionists they were predominant. Verse number 219, Nadiya Vasi Brahmanera Upajivya Praya Artha Bhumi Gram Diya Karena Sahai. Practically all the Brahmins residing in Nadiya were dependent on the charity of Hiranya and Govardhan, who gave them money, land and villages. Purport: although Navadvip was very opulent and populous during Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's time, practically all the Brahmins depended on the charity of Hiranya and Govardhan. Because the brothers highly respected the Brahmanas, they very liberally gave them money. Verse 220, Nilambar Chakravarti Aradhya Dunhar Chakravarti Kare Dunhaya Bhratre Vyavhar. Nilambar Chakravarti, the grandfather of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, was much worshipped by the two brothers, but Nilambar Chakravarti used to treat them as his own brothers. Verse 221, Mishra Purandera Purve Karya Chena Sevane Ateva Prabhu Bhala Jane Dui Jane. Formerly, these two brothers had rendered much service to Mishra Purandar, the father of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Because of this, the Lord knew them very well. Verse 222, Say Govardhanera Putra Raghunath Das Balya Kal Haite Teno Vishaya Udas. Raghunath Das was the son of Govardhan Majumdar. From childhood, he was uninterested in material enjoyment. Verse 223, Sanyas kari Prabhu yabe Shantipura aila, tabe asi Raghunath Prabhure milila. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu returned to Shantipura after accepting the renounced order, Raghunath Das met him. Verse 224, Prabhura charane pade premavishta haina, Prabhu pada sparsha kaila karuna kariya. When Raghunath Das went to see Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he fell at the Lord's lotus feet in ecstatic love. Showing him mercy, the Lord touched him with his feet. Verse 225, Tanra Pita Sada Kare Acharya Sevana Atev Acharya Tanre Haila Parasanna. Raghunath Das's father Govardhan always rendered much service to Advaita Acharya. Consequently, Advaita Acharya was very pleased with the family. Verse 226, Acharya Prasade Paila Prabhura Uchishta Pat Prabhura Charana Dekhe Dina Pancha Sat. When Raghunath Das was there, Advaita Acharya favored him by giving him the food remnants left by the Lord. Raghunath Das was thus engaged for 5 or 7 days in rendering service to the Lord's lotus feet. Verse 227, Prabhu Tandre Vidaya Diya Gela Nilachala Tenho Ghare Asi Aila Premete Pagala. After bidding farewell to Raghunath Das, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu returned to Jagannath Puri. After returning home, Raghunath Das became mad with ecstatic love. Verse 228, Bar bar palaya tenho nilatri yaite pita tanre bandhi rakhe ani pathaite. Raghunath Das used to run away from home again and again to go to Jagannath Puri, but his father kept binding him and bringing him back. Verse 229, Pancha Paika Tanre Rakhe Ratri Dine Chari Sevak Dui Brahman Rahe Tanra Sane. His father even had 5 watchmen guard him day and night. 4 personal servants were employed to look after his comfort, and 2 brahmanas were employed to cook for him. Verse 230, Ekadasha Jana Tanre Rakhe Nirantara Nila Chale Yaite Na Paye Dukita Antara. In this way, 11 people were incessantly keeping Raghunath Das under control. Thus, he could not go to Jagannath Puri, and because of this, he was very unhappy. Verse 231, Ebe yadi Mahaprabhu Shantipura Aila Shunya Pitare Raghunath Nivedila. When Raghunath Das learned that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had arrived at Shantipur, he submitted a request to his father. Verse 232, Ajna Deha Yana Dekhi Prabhura Charana Anyatha Na Rahe Mor Sharire Jivana. Raghunath Das asked his father, Please give me permission to go see the lotus feet of the Lord. If you do not, my life will not remain within this body. Verse 233, Shuni Tandra Pita Bahu Lok Dravya Diya Pathaila Bali Shigra Ayasiha Priya. Hearing this request, Raghunath Das's father agreed, giving him many servants and materials. The father sent him to see Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, requesting him to return soon. Verse 234, Sat Dina Shantipure Prabhu Sange Rahe Ratri Divase E Manaha Katha Kahe. For 7 days, Raghunath Das associated with Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Shantipura. During those days and nights, he had the following thoughts. Verse 235, Rakshera Hate Muni Kemane Chutiba Kemane Prabhura Sange Nilachale Yaba. Raghunath Das thought, how shall I be able to get free from the hands of watchmen? How shall I be able to go with Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to Nilachal? Verse 236, Sarvajana Gauranga Prabhu Jani Tanramana Shiksha Rupe Kahe Tanre Ashwas Vachana. Since Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was omniscient, he could understand Raghunath Das's mind. The Lord therefore instructed him with the following reassuring words. Verse 237, Sthira Hane Ghare Yao Dahau Vatula Krame Krame Paye Loka Bhava Sindhu Kula. Be patient and return home. Don't be crazy fellow. By and by you will be able to cross the ocean of material word purport. As stated in Srimad Bhagavatam 10.14.58, Samashrita ye pada pallav plavam mahat padam punye yasho murareh bhavam budhir vatsa padam param padam 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 yat vipadam na tesham. This material world is just like a big ocean. It begins with Brahmalok and extends to Patallok, and there are so many planets or islands in this ocean. Not knowing about devotional service, the living entity wanders about this ocean just as a man tries to swim to reach the shore. Our struggle for existence is similar to this. Everyone is trying to get out of the ocean of material existence. One cannot immediately reach the coast, but if one endeavors, he can cross the ocean by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy. One may be very eager to cross this ocean, but he cannot attain success by acting like a madman. He must swim over the ocean very patiently and intelligently under the instructions of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu or his representative. Then one day he will reach the shore and return home back to Godhead. Verse 238. Markat vairagya na kar lok dekhan yatha yogya vishay bhunja anasakta hena. You should not make yourself a show bottle devotee and become a false renunciant. For the time being, enjoy the material world in a befitting way and do not become attached to it. Purport: the word Markat Vairagya indicates the false renunciation is very important in this verse. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, in commenting on this word, points out that monkeys make an external show of renunciation by not accepting clothing and by living naked in the forest. In this way, they consider themselves renunciants, but actually they are very busy enjoying the sense gratification with dozens of female monkeys. Such renunciation is called Markat Vairagya. The renunciation of monkey, one cannot be really renounced until one actually becomes disgusted with the material activity and sees it as a stumbling block to spiritual advancement. Renunciation should not be falgu, temporary, but should exist throughout one's life. Temporary renunciation or monkey renunciation is like the renunciation one feels at the cremation ground. When a man takes a dead body to the crematorium, he sometimes thinks this is the final end of the body. Why am I working so hard day and night? Such sentiments naturally arise in the mind of any man who goes to a crematorium ghat. However, as soon as he returns from the cremation grounds, he again engages in the material activity for sense enjoyment. This is called Shamshan Vairagya or Markat Vairagya. In order to render service to the Lord, one may accept necessary things. If one lives in this way, he may actually become renounced. In the Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu 1.2.108, it is said, Yavata syat swanirvaha svi kuryat tavad arthavit adhikye nyun natyam cha chaivate paramarthaha. The bare necessities of life must be accepted, but one should not superfluously increase his necessities, nor should they be unnecessarily decreased. One should simply accept what is necessary to help one advance spiritually. In his Durgam Sangamani, Srila Jeev Goswami comments that the word Swanirvaha actually means Swabhakti Nirvaha. The experienced devotee will accept only those material things that will help him render service to the Lord. In the Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu 1.2.256, Markat Vairagya or Falgu Vairagya is explained as follows. Prapanchi Kataya Buddhaya Hari Sambandhi Vastunaha Mumukshubhihi Pratiyago Vairagyam Falgu Kathyate. When a person eager to achieve liberation renounces things related to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, thinking them to be material, their renunciation is called incomplete. Whatever is favorable for the rendering of service of the Lord should be accepted and should not be rejected as a material thing. Yukta Vairagya or befitting renunciation is thus explained. Anasaktasya Vishayan Yatharham Upayunjataha Nirbandha Krishna Sambandhe Yuktam Vairagyam Uchyate. Accepted for the Lord's service and not for one's personal sense. If one accepts something without attachment and accepts it related to Krishna, one's renunciation is called Yukta Vairagya, is the absolute truth. Whatever is accepted for his service is also the absolute truth. The word Markat Vairagya is used by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to indicate so-called Vaishnavas who dress themselves in loincloths trying to imitate Srila Rupa Goswami. Such people carry a bead bag and chant, but at heart they are always thinking about getting women and money. Unknown to others, these Markat Vairagis maintain women but externally present themselves as renunciants. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was very much opposed to these Markat Vairagis or pseudo Vaishnavas. Verse 239, Antare nishtha kar bahye lok vyavahar achirat Krishna tomaya karibe udhar. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu continued, within your heart you should keep yourself very faithful, but externally you may behave like an ordinary man. Thus Krishna will soon be very pleased and deliver you from the clutches of Maya. Verse 240, Vṛndāvan dekhi yabe asiba nila chale tabe tumi ama pasha asitha kon chale. You may see me at Nilachal Jagannath Puri when I return after visiting Vrindavan. By that time you can think of some trick to escape. Verse 241, Se chala se kale Krishna sfurabe tomare Krishna kripa yanre tare ke rakhite pare. What kind of means you will have to use at that time will be revealed by Krishna. If one has Krishna's mercy, no one can check him. But although Srila Raghunath Das was very anxious to join Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Lord advised him to wait for the mercy of Lord Krishna. He recommended that Raghunath Das keep his Krishna consciousness firmly fixed in his heart while externally behaving like an ordinary man. This is a trick for everyone advanced in Krishna consciousness. One can live in society like an ordinary being, but at the same time one's own business should be to satisfy Krishna and spread his glories. A Krishna conscious person should not be absorbed in material things, for his only business is the devotional service of the Lord. If one is engaged in this way, Krishna will certainly bestow his mercy, as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu advised Raghunath Das. Yatha yogya vishaya bhunja anasakta hena. The same is repeated. Antare nishtha kar bahye loka vyavahar. This means that one must have no desire within his heart other than to serve Krishna. On the basis of such conviction, one can cultivate Krishna consciousness. This is confirmed in the Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu 1.2.100. Lokiki Vediki Vapi Ya Kriya Kriyate Mune Hari Sevanu Kulaiva Sa Karaya Karya Bhaktim Ichchata. A devotee may act as an ordinary human being or as a strict follower of Vedic injunctions. In either case, everything he does is favorable for the advancement of devotional service because he is in Krishna consciousness. Verse 242. Eta kahi Mahaprabhu tandre vidaye dila ghare asi Mahaprabhura shiksha acharila. In this way, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu bade farewell to Raghunath Das, who returned home and did exactly what the Lord told him. Verse 243. Bahyu Vairagya Vatulata Sakala Chhadiya Yatha Yogya Karya Kare Anasakta Hena. After returning home, Raghunath Das gave up all craziness and external pseudo-renunciation and engaged in his household duties without attachments. Verse 244. Dekhi Tandra Pita Mata Bada Sukha Paila Tanhar Avaran Kichu Sthila Haila. When Raghunath Das's father and mother saw their son was acting like a householder, they became very happy. Because of this, they slackened their guard. Purport: when Raghunath Das's father and mother saw their son was no longer acting like a crazy fellow and was responsibly attending to his duties, they became very happy. The 11 people, 5 watchmen, 4 personal servants, and 2 brahmanas who were guarding him became less strict in their vigilance. When Raghunath Das actually took up his household affairs, his parents reduced the number of guards. Verse 245 and 246. Ihan Prabhu ekatra kari sah bhakta gana advaita nityanandadi yat bhakta jana sabha alingana kari kahe gosani sabe ajna dehe ami nila chale yae. Meanwhile, at Shantipura, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu assembled all his devotees headed by Advaitacharya and Nityananda Prabhu, embraced them all and asked the permission to return to Jagannath Puri. Verse 247. Sabar Sahit Ihan Amar Haila Milan E Varsh Niladri Kahe Na Kariya Gaman. Because he had met them all at Shantipur, Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu requested all the devotees not to go to Jagannath Puri that year. Verse 248, Tahan haite avashya ami Vrindavan yab sabe ajna deha tabe nirvigne asiba. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, I shall certainly go to Vrindavan from Jagannath Puri. If you all give me permission, I shall return here again without difficulty. Verse 249, Matar charane dhari bahu vinay karila Vrindavan yaite tandra ajna laila. Clasping the feet of his mother, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu very humbly requested her permission. Thus she gave him leave to go to Vrindavan. Verse 250, Tabe navadvipi tandre dila pathana Niladri Chalila Sange Bhakta Gana Lena. Srimati Sachidevi was sent back to Navadvip, and the Lord and his devotees started for Jagannath Puri. Niladri. Verse 251. Sai Sabha Loka Pathe Karena Sevana Sukhe Nilachala Aila Sachira Nandana. The devotees who accompanied Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu rendered all kinds of service on the way to Nilachal, Jagannath Puri. Thus in great happiness the Lord returned. Verse 252. Prabhu Asi Jagannath Darshan Kaila Mahaprabhu Aila Grame Kolahal Haila. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu arrived in Jagannath Puri, he visited the temple of the Lord. News then spread all over the city that he had returned. Verse 253. Anandita Bhakta Gana Asiya Milila Prema Alingana Prabhu Sabare Karila. All the devotees then came and met the Lord with great happiness. The Lord embraced each of them in great ecstatic love. Verse 254. Kashi Mishra Ramananda Pradyumna Sarvabhauma Vaninatha Shikhi Adi Yata Bhaktagana. Kashi Mishra Ramananda Rai Pradyumna Sarvabhaum Bhattacharya Vaninath Rai Shikhi Mahiti and all other devotees met Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Verse 255. Gadadhar Pandita Asi Prabhu Milila Sabar Agrite Prabhu Kahite Lagila. Gadadhar Pandit also came and met the Lord. Then before all the devotees, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu began to speak as follows. Verse 256. Vṛndāvana yab ami Gauda desh diya nij matar Gangar charan dekhiya. It was my decision to go to Vrindavan through Bengal in order to see my mother and the river Ganges. Verse 257. Eta mate Kari Kailun Godere Gamanas Sahasreka Sange Haila Nij Bhakta Gana. Thus I went to Bengal, but thousands of devotees began to follow me. Verse 258. Laksha Loka Aise Kautuk Dekhite Lokera Sangate Pathe Na Pari Chalite. Many hundreds of thousands of people came to see me out of curiosity, and due to such a large crowd, I could not travel very freely on the road. Okay. Hopefully the page will load up. It's playing up a little bit. Verse 259. Yatha rahi tatha ghar prachira hai churna yatha netra pade tatha lok dekhi purna. Indeed, the crowd was so large that the house and the boundary walls of the house where I stayed were destroyed, and wherever I looked, I could see only Raj crowds. Verse 260. Kashte srishtiye kari gelan ramakeli gram amar thani aila rupa sanatan nam. With great difficulty, I went down to the town of Ramakeli, where I met two brothers named Rupa and Sanatan. Verse 261. Dui bhai bhakta raja Krishna kripa patra vyavhare raja mantri haya raja patra. These two brothers are great devotees and suitable recipients of Krishna's mercy, but in their ordinary dealings they are government officials, ministers to the king. Verse 262. Vidya bhakti buddhi bale parama pravina tabu apanake mane trina haite hina. Srila Rupa and Sanatan are very much experienced in education, devotional service, intelligence and strength, yet they think themselves inferior to straw in the street. Verses 263 and 264. Tandra Danya dekhi shuni pashan vidare ami tusht hena tabe kailun dunhare uttam hena hina kari manha apnare achire karibe Krishna tomar udhare. Indeed, the humility of these two brothers could even melt stone, because I was very pleased with their behavior. I told them, although you are both very much exalted, you consider yourselves inferior, and because of this, Krishna will soon deliver you. Purpose, such are the qualifications of a pure devotee. Materially, one may be very opulent, experienced, influential, and educated, but if one still thinks himself lower than straw in the street, one attracts the attention of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu or Lord Krishna. Although Maharaj Prataprudra was the king, he took a broom to cleanse the road for Lord Jagannath's Rath, that is the chariot. Because of this humble service, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was very pleased with the king, and for that reason, the Lord embraced him according to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's instructions. A devotee should never be puffed up by the material power. He should know that the material power is a result of one's past good activities, past karma, and is consequently transient. At any moment, all one's material opulence can be finished. Therefore, a devotee is never proud of such opulence. He is always humble and meek, considering himself lower than a piece of straw. Because of this, the devotees are eligible to return home, back to Godhead. Verses 265 and 266. Eta kehi ami yabe vidaye tanre dila gamana kale sanatan praheli kahila Yandra sange ya haya e loka lakshakoti Vṛndāvana yai bar ye e nahi paripati. After speaking to them in this way, I bade them farewell. As I was leaving, Sanatan told me, it is not appropriate for one to be followed by a crowd of thousands when going to Vṛndāvana. Verse 267. Tabu ami shunilun matra na kailun avadhan prate chali ailena kanaira natshala gram. Although I heard this, I did not pay any attention, and in the morning I went to the place named Kanai Natshala. Verse 268. Ratri kale mane ami vichar karila Sanatan mor kiba praheli kahila. At night I, however, considered that Sanatan had told me. Verse 269. Bhalata kahila mora eta lok sange lok dekhi kahibe more eka dhange. I decided that Sanatan had spoken very well. I was certainly being followed by a large crowd, and when people would see so many men, they would surely rebuke me, saying, here is another impostor. In Bengali we read, they said dhange. Dhange, in Hindi we read it, say dhongi. Verse 270. Durlabha Durgama se nirjana Vṛndāvana ekaki yaiba kiba sange ek jana. I then began to consider that Vṛndāvana is a very solitary place. It is invincible and very difficult to attain. I therefore decided to go there alone, or at the utmost with only one person. Verse 271. Madhavendra Puri tatha gela ekeshware dugdha dana chale Krishna sakshat dila tanre. Madhavendra Puri went to Vṛndāvana alone, and Krishna, on the pretext of giving him milk, granted him audience. Verse 272. Badiyar baji patpati Chalilan tathare bahu sange Vṛndāvana gaman na kare. I then understood that I was going to Vṛndāvana like a magician with his show, and this is certainly not good. No one should go to Vṛndāvana with so many men. Verse 273. Eka yaiba kiba sange bhritya ekajana tabe se shobhaya Vṛndāvanera gamana. I have therefore resolved to go alone, or at the utmost with one servant. In this way my journey to Vṛndāvana will be beautiful. Verse 274. Vṛndāvana yab kahan ekaki hena sainya sange chaliyachi dhak pachana. I thought, instead of going to Vṛndāvana alone, I'm going with soldiers and the beating of drums. Verse 275. Dik dik apanake bali ilan asthira nivritta hena punaha ailan Ganga Tira. I therefore said, fie upon me, and being very much agitated, I returned to the banks of the Ganges. Verse 276. Bhakta Gane Rakhiya Ainu Nija Nija Sthane Ama Sange Aila Sabe Pancha Chaya Jane. I then left all the devotees there and brought only 5 or 6 persons with me. Verse 277. Nirvigne ebe kaiche yab Vṛndāvane sabe meli yukti deha hena parasanne. Now I wish that you all will be pleased with me and give me good consultation. Tell me now how I shall be able to go to Vrindavan without impediments. Verse 278. Gadadhare chhadi genu inho dhukha paila sai hetu Vrindavan yaite narila. I left Gadadhar Pandit here and he became very happy. For this reason I could not go to Vrindavan. Verse 279. Tabe Gadadhar Pandit prema vishta hena prabhu padadhari kahe vinay kariya. Being encouraged by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's words, Gadadhar Pandit became absorbed in ecstatic love. Immediately clasping the lotus feet of the Lord, he began to speak with great humility. Verse 280. Tumi yahan yahan raha tahan Vrindavan tahan Yamuna Ganga Sarva Tirtha Gana. Gadadhar Pandit said, wherever you stay is Vrindavan as well as the river Yamuna, the river Ganges and all the other places of pilgrimage. Verse 281. Tabu Vrindavan yah lokas shikhaite seita karibe tomar yai laya chitte. Although wherever you stay in Vrindavan, you will still go to Vrindavan just to instruct people. Otherwise, you will do whatever you think best. Purport: it was not essential for Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to go to Vrindavan. For whatever he stayed was immediately converted to Vrindavan. For wherever he stayed was immediately converted to Vrindavan. Indeed, at that place were also that river Ganges, the river Yamuna, and all the other places of pilgrimage. This was also expressed by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself. When he danced in the Rath Yatra, at that time he said that his very mind was Vrindavan, Mora Mana Vṛndāvana. Because his mind was Vrindavan, all the pastimes of Radha and Krishna were taking place within himself. Nonetheless, just to teach people, he visited Bhauma Vrindavan, Vrindavan Dham in this material world. In this way, the Lord instructed everyone to visit Vrindavan, which is a very holy place. Materialists consider Vrindavan Dham an unclean city because there are many monkeys and dogs there, and along the bank of the Yamuna there is refuse. Some time ago, a materialistic man asked me, why are you living in Vrindavan? Why have you selected such a dirty place to live after retiring? Such a person cannot understand that earthly Vrindavan Dham is always a representation of the original Vrindavan Dham. Consequently, Vrindavan Dham is as worshipable as Lord Krishna. Aradhyo Bhagwan Vrajesha Tanyas Tad Dhama Vrindavanam. According to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's philosophy, Lord Shri Krishna and his abode Vrindavan are equally worshipable. Sometimes materialistic people who have no spiritual understanding go to Vrindavan as tourists. One who goes to Vrindavan with such materialistic vision cannot derive any spiritual benefit. Such a person is not convinced that Krishna and Vrindavan are identical. Since they are identical, Vrindavan is as worshipable as Lord Krishna. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's vision, Moramana Vrindavan, is different from the vision of an ordinary materialistic person. At the Rath Yatra festival, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, absorbed in the ecstasy of Srimati Radharani, dragged Lord Krishna back to Vrindavan Dham. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu spoke of this in the verses beginning CC Madhya 13.1.36. In Srimad Bhagavatam 10.84.13 it is stated, Yasyatma buddhi kunape tri dhatuke swadhihi kalatradishu bhauma ijyadhihi yat tirtha buddhi salile na kharchischich karihichich janeshva abhineshu saeva ko go kharaha. A human being who identifies the body made of 3 elements with his self, who considers the byproducts of his body to be his kinsmen, who considers the land of his birth as worshipable, and who goes to a place of pilgrimage simply to take bath rather than meet the men of transcendental knowledge, there is to be considered like an ass or a cow. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu personally renovated Vrindavan Dham and advised his chief disciples Rupa and Sanatan to develop it and open it to attract the spiritual vision of the general populace. At present, there are about 5,000 temples in Vrindavan, and still in our society, the International Society for Krishna Consciousness is constructing a huge, magnificent temple for the worship of Lord Krishna and Lord Balram, along with Radha Krishna and Guru Gauranga. Since there is no prominent Krishna Balram temple in Vrindavan, we are attempting to construct one so that people will be attracted to Krishna Balram or Nitai Gaurachandra, Brajendra Nandan Ye, Shachi Suta Haila Se. Narottam Das Thakur says that Balram and the son of Maharaj Nanda have advented themselves as Gauranitai. To propagate this fundamental principle, we are establishing a Krishna Balram temple to broadcast to the world that worship of Gauranitai is the same as worship of Krishna Balram. Although it is very difficult to enter into Radha Krishna's pastimes, most of the devotees of Vrindavan are attracted to Radha Krishna lila. However, since Nitai Gaurachandra are direct incarnations of Krishna Balram, we can be directly in touch with Lord Balram and Lord Krishna through Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu. Those who are highly elevated in Krishna consciousness can enter into the pastimes of Radha Krishna through the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. It is said, Shri Krishna Chaitanya Radha Krishna Nahe Anya. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the combination of Radha and Krishna. Sometimes materialists, forgetting the pastimes of Radha Krishna and Krishna Balram, go to Vrindavan, accept the land's spiritual facilities and engage in material activity. This is against the teachings of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The Prakrita Sahajyas proclaim themselves Rajvasis or Dhamvasis, but they are mainly engaged in sense gratification. Thus, they become more and more implicated in the materialistic way of life. Those who are pure devotees in Krishna consciousness condemn their activities. The eternal Rajvasis like Sarup Damodar did not even come to Vrindavan Vasi. Shri Pundarik Vidyanidhi, Shri Haridas Thakur, Shri Vas Pandit Shivananda Sena, Shri Ramananda Rai, Shri Sikhi Mahati, Shri Madhavi Puri, Madhavi Devi and Shri Gadadhar Pandit Goswami never visited Vrindavan Dham. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur points out that we have no authorized document stating that these exalted personalities visited Vrindavan. Nonetheless, we find many non-devotees, Mayavadi sannyasis, Prakriti Sahajyas, fruitive workers, mental speculators and many others with material motives going to Vrindavan to live. Many of these people go there to solve their economic problems by becoming beggars. Although anyone living in Vrindavan somehow or other is benefited, the real Vrindavan is appreciated only by a pure devotee. As stated in the Brahma Samhita, Premanjana Churita Bhakti Vilochanena, when one has purified eyes, he can see that Sri Vrindavan and the original Goloka Vrindavan planet in the spiritual sky are identical. Srila Narottam Das Thakur, Srinivas Acharya, Shri Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj, Shri Bhagwan Das Babaji Maharaj and Srila Gaura Kishore Baba Das Babaji Maharaj and later Shri Bhaktivinoda Das Thakur of Calcutta always engaged in Nam Bhajan and certainly did not live anywhere but Vrindavan. Presently, the members of the Hare Krishna movement throughout the world live in materially opulent cities such as London, New York, Los Angeles, Paris, Moscow, Zurich and Stockholm. However, we are satisfied with following in the footsteps of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur and other Acharyas because we live in the temples of Radha Krishna and continuously hold Harinam Sankirtan, the chanting of Hare Krishna. We consequently live in Vrindavan and nowhere else. We are also following in the footsteps of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu by attempting to construct a temple in Vrindavan for our disciples throughout the world to visit. Verse number 282. Ei age aila Prabhu Varshar Chari Mas, Ei Chari Mas Kara Nila Chalevas. Taking this opportunity, Gadadhar Pandit said, just now the 4 months of the rainy seasons have begun. You should therefore spend the next 4 months in Jagannath Puri. Verse 283, Pache se achariba ye tomara mana apan ichaya chala raha ke kare varana. After remaining here for 4 months, you will be free to do as you like. Actually, no one can stop you from going or remaining. Verse 284, Shuni saba bhakta kahe prabhura charane sabakar ichha pandita kaila nivedane. Upon hearing this statement, the devotees present at the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu stated that Gadadhar Pandit had properly presented their desire. Verse 285, Sabar Ichaya Prabhu Chari Mas Rahila Shuniya Pratap Rudra Anandita Haila. Being requested by all the devotees, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu requested to remain at Jagannath Puri for 4 months. Agreed to remain at Jagannath Puri for 4 months. Hearing this, King Prataprudra became very happy. Verse 286. Saidina Gadadhar Kaila Nimantrana Tahan Bhiksha Kaila Prabhu Lena Bhaktagana. That day Gadadhar Pandit extended an invitation to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and the Lord took his lunch at his place with other devotees. Verse 287. Bhikshate Panditera Sneha Prabhura Aswadan Manushera Shakte Duina Yai Varanana. No ordinary human being can possibly describe Gadadhar Pandit's affectionate presentation of food for Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's tasting this food. The affectionate presentation of food of Gadadhar Pandit or Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's tasting this food. Verse 288. Ei mata Gaura lila anant apar sankshepe kahiye kahana yai vistar. In this way, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu performs his pastimes, which are unlimited and unfathomable. Somehow or other, these have briefly been described. It is not possible to describe them elaborately. Verse 289. Sahasra vadane kahe apane ananta tabu eka lilar tenho nahi pai anta. Although Lord Anantadeva is always describing the pastimes of the Lord with his thousands of mouths, he cannot reach the end of even one of the Lord's pastimes. Verse 290. Shri Rupa Raghunath Pade Yar Ash Chaitanya Charitamrit Kahe Krishnadas. Praying at the lotus feet of Shri Rupa and Shri Raghunath, always desiring their mercy, I Krishnadas narrate Shri Chaitanya Charitamrit, following in their footsteps. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purpose to Shri Chaitanya Charitamrit, Madhya Lila 16th chapter, describing Lord Chaitanya's attempt to go to Vṛndāvana. So we'll continue with chapter 17 next time. Thank you for joining. Hare Tastat, Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.